Well, Polymaker launched a new filament, HT-PLA Pro. So stick around. This is not the regular HT-PLA. This is a new version. We'll dive into it, tell you what it's all about, show you the testing I did on it. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Scott, EO3D, powered by PCBWay. And so Polymaker is launching a new material, their HT-PLA Pro. So they launched their HT-PLA. I'll put a video up here when I did the launch for that a while back, a year or so ago. And I built a Voron V0 printer in the yellow tool colors from that. A lot of people jumped on there and said it would never work and had a lot of negative things to say. Guess what? It's downstairs right now. It's still printing. It's had one failure. One. I caused it. I didn't put a screw in the tool head where it needed to be, and the piece broke, so I printed it out of a quote-unquote stronger material. It broke again. Then I read the directions. Realized I missed the screw, reprinted it out HT-PLA, put the screw in it. It's worked fine for, I don't know, it's been over a year. Anyway, on to this, the HT-PLA Pro. So this is not a higher temperature filament. It's not a higher temperature HT. It's to address some of the issues with the regular HT-PLA, layer adhesion, and some things like that. It's just an improved version. It says higher toughness, stronger layer adhesion, and works best framed around toughness. It's not a hotter or higher heat resistance PLA. So heat performance is the same as regular version, so toughness and real functional parts make the stronger story. As of right now, the price on this at launch is $25.99 a kilogram. They are working on a glass fiber version of this, and they sent out a few sample spools to people to test. They were not happy with the results, so that is being reworked. That'll be a later date. When I get that, a new video. But it's kind of a short time span for me on this to get it done because I'm leaving to go out of town before this video actually goes live. And I didn't get the material all that long ago. So really all I got to do was my standard testing. So I printed two full sets of test samples, and I annealed one set. Now, their guidance on annealing is 100 degrees for 30 minutes. I have a preset on my oven, and I'll show you that here. I anneal this material at 110 degrees for 90 minutes. So I put it in there, I start my annealing. And what you'll see here is this is my graph where I start the oven, and it immediately takes it up to 110 degrees and it holds it there for 90 minutes. And then I just let it cool back to ambient, still sealed inside the oven. So that's what that graph is right there. And it worked just fine. One of the new tests that I've added that I worked on for quite some time, and I've showed a little bit of it, is dial indicators, where I print test cards, mount them to the fixture, set the dial indicator on them, zero the dial indicator out, and then I hang 100 grams of weight and measure it over time. Typically, I would like to do that over 7 days. I don't have 7 days to get this done, so it's abbreviated to 96 hours, but we still have results to go through on that. So let me pull that up here, and we'll jump back over to that screen and we'll go over what we got here. This is when I zeroed them out after I loaded the pieces in here. This is immediately after hanging the weights, or 1 hour after hanging the weights. And after 1 hour, the annealed deflected 19 thousandths, the raw deflected 22 thousandths. 24 hours, the annealed deflected 23 thousandths, the raw deflected 29 thousandths. 48 hours, the annealed was 28 thousandths, the raw was 42 thousandths. 72 hours, annealed is 30 thousandths, Raw is 52 thousandths. And then the next day when I took the weights off, I let it sit for an hour, and this is where it retracted back to. And basically both pieces retracted back 15 thousandths from where they peaked out at during this test. So the annealed came back to 15 thousandths and the raw 36 thousandths. So like I say, it's a new test. This is the first time I've done it on a material. I wanted to do it for longer, but I wanted to get this video out before I leave to go to Montana for a week. So that's the reason behind that. I did my normal heat deflection testing. I will post a YouTube short at the same time this goes live and show this, the heat deflection. Now, their heat stability, which I did that on the HT-PLA launch, where basically it's a base with a little flag and it's just heated and sees how much temperature before it fails under its own weight. I didn't get around to that, but I did do my heat deflection testing where I put the pieces in my oven and put 10-gram weights on each one, and I put a camera on there and I take a sample of the temperature inside the oven and a picture every 10 seconds. And then I compress that into a video and a graph and everything. And like I said, I'll put that video up at the same time this launches. It'll be a YouTube live video or YouTube short video. And my numbers that I came up with, they say heat deflection after annealing is 100 degrees Celsius. I came up with 111.4 degrees Celsius, so it did better for me than what their product brief shows. Now, again, I am not a certified lab. None of my tests are any kind of certification. It's my test, apples to apples comparison. That's it. I don't claim to be certified. I don't claim that any of my numbers are equal to anybody else's testing. This is my testing, EO3D, EO3D Labs, my equipment. I've designed and built all the equipment myself. Well, the oven I bought, but I modified it. You get the point. So let's jump over here to my website. And when you first jump onto it, this is what it's going to look like. And if you're like me and you like dark mode, just click this button here. Click this support button if you want me to keep these pages free. I don't want to put them behind a paywall. It does cost me money. I do get some support from people like Polymaker and PCBWay and Soriatech and a few others, but the amount of support I get does not cover all the bills. Let's grab Polymaker. Let's pull up their PLAs. And right here is the annealed PLA Pro. This is the tensile test. It's a 4mm thick piece, 10 millimeters wide, stretched till it peaks out. And peak on annealed was 161.05 kilograms. Peak on the raw as printed, 152.12. And here's the original HT-PLAs. They were a little stronger in the tensile testing, 176.64 on the raw, and the annealed actually went down a little bit, so exactly the opposite of what we saw in this new Pro. The yield point, so the machine starts at a 0 millimeter and it starts pulling and it measures where it peaks out at. So as printed, the HT-PLA Pro, 2.83 millimeters is where it peaked, and the annealed HT-PLA Pro, 2.65 millimeters. Here's the other HTs. This is the original version, 2.7 on the raw and 2.42 on the annealed. So pretty similar results there. Now, x-axis breakpoint. The way my machine figures out the break is it stretches it, measures the peak, continues to stretch it until the piece either breaks or there's a significant rapid drop in the force, or the total force gets down to 50% of where it peaked at. This is 50% of where it peaked at on the unannealed raw, as you can see, raw. It peaked at 18.68 millimeters, or 50% at 18.68. Now, on the annealed stuff, it kind of broke, but it broke on the radius, just after the radius, and it's not a perfectly square break. And then the other side just kind of peeled apart there. You can see that. So that was the break on the annealed, and that was 4.27 millimeters. Now, this 18.68, I only did one pull. I pulled it to 6 millimeters, it didn't break, so when I did the next one, I set the machine to go to 60 millimeters, and it peaked out, or it got to 50% at 18.68. Layer adhesion. So their claim over here is better layer adhesion, a tougher PLA with better layer adhesion. Let's see. So, HT-PLA, the original formula. Annealed 35.8 kilograms layer adhesion. The as printed 44.2. Here's the HT-PLA Pro. On the annealed 45.64. So 10 kilograms more force on the new Pro versus the standard HT-PLA. And 71.38 kilograms layer adhesion on the non-annealed HT-PLA Pro versus 44.2. So pretty significant before it's annealed. Still significant after it's annealed. Direct thread yield, that's a 3 millimeter screw screwed into a printed hole 5 millimeters deep and pulled back out. As printed, 45.56 kilograms, and annealed 48.46. Now, a couple of reasons I do the two tests here between direct thread and heat set is some materials benefit from heat sets, other materials there's not a big benefit by using heat sets. What I tell people, if there's not a big benefit by using heat sets and you're only going to screw it together once, don't waste your time and money on heat sets. If it's something you're going to continually take apart and put back together, put the heat sets in it. And here's where we are. The as printed, 100 kilograms of force. The annealed, only 84 kilograms, but both of those are significantly better than the direct thread, so this will benefit from having heat sets. IZOD shock test. Unfortunately, I changed my machine between the original HT-PLA and the new PLA Pro, and I have not had the time to reprint these two to redo the test. So what this is joules of energy absorbed. And the only thing I have on here to compare it to is PLA Pro, just some blue PLA Pro. As printed, 2.67 kilogram or 2.67 joules of energy absorbed, and the annealed, 2.29 joules of energy absorbed. And finally, heat deflection testing. I've not HDT tested any of the other materials. I did not have my HDT system set up when I did the HT-PLA, so again, something I need to print. I need to anneal them, so I have apples to apples comparison. But right now, 52 degrees Celsius on the unannealed, and you'll see in the video it was really funny because the front piece of the unannealed, it actually walked across the oven before it started to fail. I can't explain that other than maybe I need to go to the river, as Justin Nunley would say. Maybe my oven's possessed. 111.4, which is 11.4 degrees Celsius better than what they were advertising on this. And I didn't bother to do minimum bending radius testing on this stuff. It's PLA. It's not fiber filled. It'll go through just fine. So there you go. That is the new Polymaker HT-PLA Pro. They have lots of colors out, and I don't see in the briefing here, right now they have 18 colors: black, white, gray, red, blue, orange, teal, green, yellow, brown, dark gray, purple. pink, magenta, burnt orange, army beige, army green, and flat dark earth 3D print general color. So I know that I've got the Polymaker teal down there. Obviously I have the black, I have white. I've got a burnt orange downstairs, and I don't remember what the other color was they sent me, but that's irrelevant for this video. $25.99 a kilogram. In all of my testing, it looked good. It prints beautifully, and one of the things I did, and I'll get a picture of it and post up here, but building out my new shop and studio, I'm putting in these deco mesh units everywhere. So out in the big bay of the shop, which is beyond that wall, it's a 2-story area over there. And then there's another shop down below here, and then this room is my studio / bar. I was putting in the deco mesh system, and I wanted to mount one of these deco units on the wall over there. And there's really no shelves or anything, so I just jumped into Fusion 360, drew up a piece with a wall mount, threw it at the bamboo printer, and I printed it standing up at a 45-degree angle like this with minimal supports because I didn't want layer lines on the 90-degree here or the 90-degree here. So I printed it at a 45, so my layer lines are all 45 degrees angled instead of, you get the idea. Printed absolutely beautifully. I designed it up here, sent it to the bamboo printer downstairs, got busy doing other stuff, totally forgot it was printing. An hour later, I go downstairs to use the bathroom, and the printer's running. I'm like, oh, I forgot to check it and make sure I wasn't making a bowl of black ramen. And it was printing beautifully. It finished the print. I screwed it to the wall. It works fine. Not necessarily what this material is designed for, but that's where I went with it for this. So anyway, check out Polymaker. The link to my affiliate account is down below. If you click that link, it doesn't cost you 1 penny more for your order, but it adds pennies to my budget and allows me to buy more materials, build more machines, and do more testing. Link to PCBWay down below. They're having their 12-year anniversary going on right now. Great company, new channel sponsor. I've known the PCBWay marketing people and their team for many years, but just never was in the right place to do a collaboration sponsorship with them. I am now, so thanks to PCBWay for the new studio, sponsoring the new studio, helping support it. Thanks to Polymaker for their support over the years, and especially thanks to every one of you that sticks around and watches these all the way to the end. I talk too much. I don't have much to say. Hit the thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Drop a comment down below. Hit that subscribe button, the bell icon when you want to see me drop a new video. And as always, peace out.